First thing that we need to do is we don't have HOA blocks for our languages, so I'm just going to go ahead and create all of those at once. So add new block. This is going to be HOA_LAD, Programming Languages Ladder. Okay. Add a new block, and this is going to be HOA_FBD. This is going to be an FBD program. Okay. And look at that, our HOA ladder, we created that as the wrong type. Oops, so let's get rid of that and recreate that. That was dumb. So HOA_LAD, make sure to click function block, ladder. Okay, let's try again. Better. Add a new block, HOA_SCL. That needs to be SCL. Okay. And last one, that's HOA_STL. The language needs to be STL, and hit OK. Now we don't want all of these things open at the same time, so let's just close them to make our navigation a little bit easier. We do want the ladder open. We can close the FBD. And I'm going to close our watch table, and I'm going to close our IOSCL. Okay, so let's go back to the main, and now remember we need to actually be calling these blocks. So let's set up where that happens. So right now I'm going to put one more branch right in here, and this is going to be our HOA ladder. We're going to call that right there. Yes, give it some data. Come over to the next one. This is where we need to call our FBD. So let's drop that in. Oh, cancel. No, not IO. We want HOA FBD. So let's delete that out of there. We don't want to call IO again. We want to call HOA. Alright, give it data. Good. Come down here. We want our HOA SCL. There it is. Give it data. Last one. And that's going to be our HOA STL. Okay. So now all of these blocks have a call depending on which language is selected. Not a problem. That's what we want. And now we can go into our ladder and start programming some HOA. Okay, so let's start with our digital devices. And I'm going to pull up my IO ladder just for reference sake here. Good. And where do we want to start? We've got our oil pump VFD energize, oil pump, brake, alarm horn, station, interlock. Okay, so coming back into HOA, we're going to start with a push button, and that's going to be oil pump, VFD, in, out. I'm just selecting that so I have something to copy off of. Okay, so I'm going to have this be VFD, and it's going to be off _ PB. So that's going to be a push button to turn this thing off. And then I want 2 more rungs here, and copy that, and I'm going to want 2 more buttons here. So I've got 1 to turn it off, I want 1 to put it into hand, and I want 1 to put it into auto. Alright, and let's go ahead and just define those. So we want these to be global bools. Right click, define tag, global memory bool. Right click, define tag, and last one is global memory bool. Okay, so I've got my 3 push buttons here, And I'll be able to use those push buttons everywhere else, so I don't have to redefine those every time. That's a good thing. And next thing we want is we want some triggers on these guys. So P trigger, I'm just going to drag one of those in, and let's Control C, copy, paste, paste, and ONS. Actually, I've already got ONS1 defined as global. So I'm just going to call these OS1. That's good. OS1, OS2, and OS3. I'm going to have a lot more of those by the time I'm done in here. And might as well define those. Local temp bool, perfect. Oh, not perfect. Sorry. Let's go up here to where that got created and let's delete that out of there. We don't want that to be a local temp bool. Define that tag again. We want that to be a local static bool. So almost already made an error doing this, but we caught it before we got too far. That's the way I like it. So yeah, local static bools. And now we are going to bring in some move operations because this is where we're going to set an int. So for off, we want that to be equal to 0, and this is going to be oil pump VFD HOA. Right click, define tag, global memory, and it's going to be an int. So let's get that all done. Okay, and let's copy this block, paste it into these two. I want hand to be 1, and I want auto to be 2, and then I want my default position to be off. So I'm going to come over here and give us one more condition, and come over here for comparators, and I want an out of range, and we're going to look at that oil pump VFD HOA int that we just created, and if it's outside of the range of 0 and 2, then we're going to bypass the trigger altogether, and we're going to set that thing equal to 0, okay? We should never be outside of that range, but you never know, man. Sometimes weird things happen, and when they do, who are you going to call, right? Well, you're going to call this out of range right here in that default action. That's who. All right. Right click, I'm going to copy network 1, Control V, and I'm going to just do that 2 more times, okay? So I've now got 4 of these things set up, and that's because I'm going to have one network for each one of my digital outputs, and the next one I'm going to set up is going to be my break. So we're going to have break off. Whoa, too many F's. There, break off PB. And Control C, I'm going to copy that. And I'm just going to paste it onto the next 2. And then I'm going to change that off. So then we're going to have hand, and on the last one, man, it keeps jumping around. I swear this environment is a pain to work with sometimes. Alright, and we're going to set that one equal to auto. So we've got break off, hand, and auto push buttons, and you know what, I didn't put underscores on those, but I would like to keep all of that formatting similar on that one. Yeah, so there we go. And let's define these. Also going to be global. And of course they're going to be Booleans. Come on, there we go. One more. Define it, make it global because we're going to use these on our HMI. Okay. And we need new one-shot storage bits here. So 4, 5, and 6. And I'll show you an easier way that we can do this. You see up here we've got these statics. Well, watch this. OS 4, OS 5, OS 6. And just like that, done. Okay? So we can work back and forth like that too. That's not a problem. And okay, the last thing we want is this is going to be our break HOA. So break HOA, right click, define tag. That one's going into global memory, and that one's going to be an int. Control C to copy, and let's just finish that up. And how did that get to say oil pump? That shouldn't say oil pump, that should say 0. Did I copy that from up there, or did I just screw something up when I wasn't looking? I guess I screwed something up when I wasn't looking. So Control C, and we want to flip that out for the break HOA. Okay, so we've got off, hand, auto, 0 through 2, 0, 1, 2. And just, I'm going to look back over this one to make sure I didn't screw something up on my way out the door. I didn't. Good. Okay, so we've got 2 of these set. Let's come down here for the third one, and I don't remember what that is. Our alarm horn and then station interlock. Okay, so network 3, and we want alarm horn off, push button. And let's copy that and paste that onto these 2. And then we'll go ahead and change these. So this one's going to be hand, and the bottom one is going to be auto. If it'll let me select it, there we go, AUTO. Right click, whoops, it jumped. Define tag, Boolean, we want that to be global, of course. I know it's getting old, right? Seeing me select these things over and over again. Okay, let's define another tag. Trust me, it's not any more fun for me, but rather than doing half of this stuff on the screen and the other half of this stuff off the screen, and you come back and you're like, man, how the hell did you get to where you're at? I'd rather just do it all on the screen. You can always fast forward if some of this is getting old, but I do want the whole thing to be there for you. Okay, so we've got those. This over here is going to be alarm horn, and we can get rid of that VFD, right? And alarm horn HOA, right click, define tag, global int. All right, and yeah, that jibes. Control that, we want to paste it over here, down here. And we've got 6, we need OS 7, 8, and 9. So 7 there, 8 there, and we want a nice 9 right down there. Perfect. And I can come up here and define those. So OS 7, OS 8, whoops, what was that? That's supposed to be a 7, and OS 9. Okay, perfect. So the last one we've got is our station interlock, and that's the last of our digitals, mind you. So here we go. Station, and I'll just call that station INT, because I don't want these tag names to get so big that it doesn't accept them. Let's copy that tag from here and paste it onto these 2 and change our names. Let's get a good selection there. Okay, that's my hand button. That's going to be my auto button. if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. Man, that's really hard to work with. Let's get that out of my way. Right click, define tag, global bool, we like it. Define tag, global bool, we like it. Last one, we like it too. And now these guys need to be OS 10, 11, and 12. There we go. And I can come up here and define those guys. So OS 10, OS 11, OS 12. And over here we've got our station int HOA. So double click that, come in, and there we go. Station int HOA. Right click, define it. That's global. It's going to be an int. Copy it. And man, it jumped for no reason. Okay, copy it there. Paste it there. Paste it there. Paste it there. And alright, we've got our digital HOAs set up. Let's jump back into that. And here we go. We've got our I/O ladders. And remember, we've just got these energized all the time, right? Well, it shouldn't be that way. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull in a comparator. We're going to pull this equals first. And we're going to say oil pump VFD HOA. And if that is equal to 1, that means it's in hand mode. So just like that, we want this thing to run. But there's another possibility. And let's go ahead and copy that and bring it down here. If we are in auto mode and we're going to have a control bit here. So oil pump VFD underscore CTRL. And let's right click, define that tag. That's going to be a global bool. And then we're going to also energize this. So this control bit is something that we're going to use in our process logic. When we energize that, that's going to allow our process logic to control this oil pump VFD and energize it or de-energize it whenever it sees fit. So that's what we're creating that for. And let's come down here. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it 1, 2, and 3 places. And we're just going to look for different bits here. So here we're going to look for our break HOA. Here we're going to look for our alarm HOA. And here we're going to look for our station interlock HOA. So now anytime any one of those is in hand, these devices are going to energize. And now we still need to put in our automatic control logic. So we're going to fill that in here. I'm going to control this comparator that's looking for a 2. And let's paste that on all of these as well. And let's set those also to the relevant HOAs. So we've got the break, we've got the alarm, and then we've got the station interlock. And then we need our control bits. So let's copy that normally open contact, paste that down here on these rungs, and then we're just going to have to create some more. So our control here is going to be alarm underscore control. Our station interlock is going to be station INT. What did we use for that? INTL maybe? I'll just say station INTL. And actually I did that in the wrong place, so I'm just going to switch those 2 out. bring that up here. There we go. And man, I put that in the wrong place. So let's just switch those out. Okay, so this one is the one that should be our alarm horn control. Station. This one should have been our brake, not alarm, so brake. And oil pump. Okay, so let's connect the lines here and then define the tags. So that's going to be a global bool because we're going to be controlling that from elsewhere in our program. Same as that, and same as that. Okay, so now we've got a way to energize any one of these things in hand mode, energize any one of those in auto, and we've got a bit that we can control from the rest of our program. So now